What's going on, everybody? My name is Aryan, and in today's video we got a special unboxing. Behind me we got the new studio display that was just released today on March 18th. We got it in the house. We're going to be unboxing it, and I'm going to be giving you guys my first impressions on the thing. Now, Apple just announced the studio display along with the new Mac Studio at the recent event. Now, this is kind of priced to be put as a budget option compared to the Pro Display XDR. So we're going to be taking a look at what comes in the box, and then we're going to set it up. And then I'm going to give you guys a little rundown on some of the specs and how I intend to use it. I have the 16-inch M1 Max MacBook Pro, and I intend to pair it with that as a bigger display so I can edit my videos on and photo edit and basically create content for you guys. So that's what this display is going to be all about. This one that we have right here is the one with just the regular glossy glass panel, and then it just has the regular stand that has just the tilt adjustment. I do not think it's worth $400 or $500 extra for the height adjustable stand. If you really want to adjust the height, I suggest just putting it on a riser. But without further ado, let's just get into this box. Alright, so as you can guys see, this is a pretty big box. On the front, we have a full color picture of the studio display. On top, we got some text that says studio display. On the side, we got the side profile, and on the back, we just have how it looks from the back. Nothing too fancy. We got a pull tab on the top that we're going to be ripping open to get into the box. So let's just go ahead and do that now. No plastic wrapping, just this nice little, actually pretty satisfying pull tab. This is a big box, and I have a small desk, so not the best situation. And I think the top just comes off just like that. All right, perfect. All right, now as soon as that's done, you got these little pull things on the side that just kind of open up like origami. It's actually nice. And we got the studio display here itself. So let's take that out the box. Oh, it's actually pretty heavy. So it comes wrapped. It says studio display. That to the side for now. Also, we got this little box, and inside here, okay, so we got the regular paperwork, two big Apple stickers that come in black. We got our braided Thunderbolt cable, comes in black. Nice filling cable, nice and braided, cool. And that seems to be it for this box. Now let's take a look at the monitor itself. All right, so taking a look at the monitor, and it looks like the power assembly is at the back over here. We got the power cable, which is also braided, and unlike the new iMacs with the M1 chip and the Pro Display XDR, this cable is built in and it's not removable. I wish it was magnetic and removable, but I guess we don't get that option over here. Now let's peel off this paper material. Another sticker on the display. It says Studio Display. Let's peel that right off. Nice. All right, I'm gonna get this set up and then I'll give you guys my first impressions. All right guys, now as you can see behind me, we got the studio display all set up. We got it connected to the MacBook Pro 16-inch, and that's what's gonna be driving this thing, like I said. So let's go over some of the specs of the studio display itself. Now, studio display is a 27-inch 5K Retina screen. It's the same screen actually that they have on the 5K iMacs. So if you're familiar with that screen, you know exactly pretty much how this one will look like. It's just housed in a different and, in my opinion, better looking casing. So the resolution on this display is 5120 by 2880, which gives it a pixels per inch of 218. Now, the first thing that I can see from looking at it is that it's a very sharp display. I'm coming from like an old 1080p 27-inch just random monitor that I found on Amazon. So this is a huge step up for me. And right off the bat, it is super crisp. The colors are really nice, and it overall just looks really good. I personally love the design of the new studio display, and it reminds me a lot of the Pro Display XDR or the new iMacs. It's nice and boxy, it's nice and minimal, and I think it just looks amazing. Now the screen goes up to 600 nits of brightness, so it's not an HDR panel. For context, the 16-inch M1 Max MacBook Pro, that one can get up to 1600 nits of brightness because it's an HDR display. Typically you can get a brightness about 1000 nits without HDR content. Now, this is not as bright of a panel, but to be honest, I don't really notice that. And especially if you're not looking at it side by side, you're not going to have any issues. It's color accurate, so that's great for video editing and photo editing, and especially if that's what you're into, this Studio Display is going to serve you great for that. So on the back of the Studio Display, we find 4 USB-C ports, and one of them is a Thunderbolt port, which is what's going to be connecting to your device. So for example, if you have the new Mac Studio or if you have a MacBook Pro, that's what's going to be taking in the signal from there. And like I said earlier, this is just the tilt adjustable stand. Now it comes in 3 options. You can get this one, you can get the tilt and height adjustable stand, and here in Canada, that's an extra $500. Or you can get the one with a VESA mount. The one thing is that you have to choose that beforehand and you cannot switch after the fact because these stands are built right into the display. Now the great thing in my opinion with this setup is since it is a Thunderbolt display, it can have one cable connecting to your computer and it provides power and signal. So that just makes cable management so much easier. Plus these have speakers built into them and they actually sound very, very good. It's not going to replace studio quality speakers that are on your desk, but if you don't want that extra cost, you don't want that extra setup on your desk, the Studio Display speakers will get the job done 100%. Alright, and lastly, the Studio Display also has a 12 megapixel camera in it. It is the same one found in actually the new iPads, and it supports center stage, so if you have multiple people in a FaceTime call, it can pan around the camera to make sure everybody's included. So here's a test of that right now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is a test of the new Apple Studio Display camera. Like I said, 12 megapixel camera, and there's also a test of the microphone. So this is the audio that you would get coming out of it. I think it's perfectly good for Zoom calls, for FaceTime, or for anything like that. So here's your little test of that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that brings me to the end of this video. That is the unboxing and my first impressions of the new Mac Studio Display. I'm going to be testing this out and really putting it through its paces, editing this video on it, as well as a couple future projects. So be sure to stay tuned for a full review coming soon. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. Leave a like, drop something in the comments, and make sure you subscribe. See you guys in the next one. Thank you.